Hey everybody, it's William Green. Welcome to My Green Pets. And today is Saturday, the 23rd of June, 2018. And you are looking at my big Vanda orchid that is hanging in my shade tent outside. And it's had kind of a rough winter, but after being outside for about a month, it's starting to perk up, and hopefully we're going to see some blooms on that soon. It's got big, beautiful, purplish, bluish flowers when it does bloom. If we just make a 180 here and look at the rest of the orchids that are in the shade tent, we can see what's going on. This is my Brassocatanthe Little Mermaid, and it is putting up a new growth here. And this is a very reliable bloomer. It blooms every fall, about middle of October. I can count on that being in bloom. And then below it here I've got all my little bulbophyllums. And this is Hal, my bulbophyllum echinolabium, and I think it's getting to the end of its bloom cycle. The first flower that it put out was last August 2017, and it has put out 15 flowers in a row since then, and the newest bud on it is not looking very much like it's going to do anything, so this might be it for Hal. It's got one more flower over here that looks like it's going to be putting out on this spike. But I'd like to see some new growth. Hal got divided in the winter time, and many of you got a piece of him. I'm really happy to be able to share him with you guys. Here I have my bulbophyllum Lovely Elizabeth, and it's putting out some new growth. It's really starting to get lush, you know, lots of different growths on it. But one thing that's kind of concerning me is that the leaves this year are much smaller than previous years. This is the newest one that's just finished, and it's not nearly as big as last time, so this plant might need to be repotted. I'm not quite sure why, but it's not quite as vigorous. It's not growing quite as big as it has in the past. This is Bulbophyllum medusae. A lot of you guys have seen this one in bloom in the past. It's definitely spectacular when it flowers. And many of you have gotten a piece of this as well. I'm very eager to hear from you guys and hear how your pieces of Medusa is doing. Mine's putting out one new leaf here. It's got some new root growth, and it's just kind of adjusting to having been split up into 13 different pieces. And next to it is, this is my Bulbophyllum rufinum. And rufinum just put out a spike which finished recently and is putting out another spike back here. Looks nice. And then this bulb down here is putting out two new growths on it. You can see the growths popping out there. So that one's great. This one's kind of one that you don't see as much. It puts out long spikes with lots of little fruit-scented flowers. Then back here is my Max 10. And again, many of you have gotten a piece of this Max 10. Thank you for buying those from me. And I'm eager to know if yours are in flower, because my little division here is starting to push out its flower buds. Of course, won't be as spectacular as it has been in past years, but I'm very hopeful that all of you who've got a division are seeing flowers pushing out on yours now too. Up here I've got my Oncidium maculatum. We saw it in bloom this winter, and it's got a new growth pushing out there. And that's a spring bloomer. So that growth, this plant grows very slowly because it is a species. And but when it blooms, it does have such nice big spikes and flowers, fruit-scented flowers. Let's see, here are my two catasetum types. This is Cycnodes Wine Delight, and I'm very happy that the bugs have not eaten it this year. I do wish the bulb was a little bit bigger. I wish that it would grow a little bit larger, but you know, the roots were doing very well until I brought it outside, and then when I brought it out, several of the roots dried up and died. Okay, fast forward a few hours. Sorry, I had to interrupt my recording. Had a visitor. Anyway, this is my Mormodia Jumbo World. I brought it out of the green room, the indoor grow room, to grow out here the rest of the summer, and it seems to be doing okay. I wish I could get a better shot of it with the light. It seems to be doing okay. The roots seem okay. It seems like these guys, they really like their roots to dry out between waterings, otherwise they kind of don't do well. So hopefully it will continue to grow and I'll get some flowers off that this winter. Our temperature today is close to 30 degrees Celsius, 62% humidity. These are my Cattleya Rex seedlings. These are the largest ones, and this is the one that was in the basement in the grow room. I finally brought it outside because I've kind of decided that even though it does have a sheath, I don't think that it's going to bloom. I don't think this is going to produce anything. I mean, it might still, but I don't think that it will. So anyway, they're out here. Those are the largest ones. The other Cattleya Rex seedlings, this one is mounted, doing quite well, put a nice new leaf out. These two also doing well on their little mount. This is hickory bark. By the way, I've got some of this hickory bark available and I'm going to be selling it very soon, so if you're interested, let me know. Here are the other Cattleya Rex seedlings. And still, you know, just not doing as well as I would like, although I have seen the root growth resuming after they've been moved outside. But you know, occasionally there still are snails in this medium, and you know, occasionally a new root will pop out, and then basically as soon as it pops out, it gets eaten off. I don't know if you can see right there, that brand new root was chewed off as soon as it started growing. I hate that. I do try to put the snail killer out, you know, every month or so, but it just, sometimes they just still survive. Let's see what else we got. Let's look at the slippers. We got, this is my Phragmipedium grande. The spike finally did snap off from this past winter. It has a new growth that it was pushing out since last fall, and it's got another new growth pushing out there. There is an issue of rot happening. This old growth has rotted off, and it does seem to have some rot spreading to this leaf as well. And in the newest growth, it does have a little bit down here too. So it's very weird how the rot progresses through this plant. Sometimes, you know, it will take one leaf at a time, but if you look down here, like this older leaf is fine, but then the newer one has gotten totally consumed with the rot, and then this one has been okay. So in the past I would have gotten really freaked out and dissected the plant and tried to cut out all the rot, but I don't do that anymore. I'm just going to let the plant handle it on itself, and if it ends up losing the whole growth, you know, I'm just going to let it do what it has to do. I'm going to keep watering it as I normally would, and my experience has just shown me that, you know, if the plant is strong and healthy, it can overcome the rot. If not, then the rot will win. We'll just see. Over my other slippers, these are my paths. I don't know what is going on. I did mention that I felt like I had over-fertilized some of them, but it is weird how, you know, these are new leaves on new growths, but it's just weird in the order that they are kind of dying back like this. Like this leaf is older than this one, so usually the oldest leaf is the one that dies back, but here this is the second oldest one dying back, and I don't really know why. This one's got a bud down in the center of the growth, just kind of hanging out there, and I don't know if it's going to actually push up and grow and bloom. No idea. We will just have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm not really happy with the way these guys are handling the outside this year. Maybe it's a little bit too hot for them. It has been very, very hot. So I'm not sure. I've had a little bit of rot in this one too. It's been very rainy as well. So they probably would have preferred a little bit more stable environment, but you know what, I just like having them outside in the summer. It's just so much easier to have them out. Got a few phals left down here, and this is my little Oncidium speckled spire. It's all done. Its little flowers are all falling off now. Got a few more paths over here. And this is a new plant actually. When I visited Carter & Holmes Orchids, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen my trip to Carter & Holmes Orchids a few weeks ago. I was actually given this plant by them. That was super nice. This is Malaxis latifolia, and it's a terrestrial orchid. I've got it in sphagnum moss just because I don't have any dirt here, but the grower there told me just to plant it in dirt. So So it's got a little flower spike on it, and it will be covered in lots of little flowers in the next couple weeks. That's kind of a cool one. And then here's my little Valschilleriana. So happy that it is putting out a new leaf, and that the old leaf hopefully will hang on. Please don't fall off. I hate it when they grow new leaves just to lose the other leaves. I'm trying to increase the number of leaves that this plant has. This is Bulbophyllum antiniferum, doing okay. A piece of this plant was sent to Serpa Design a couple weeks ago, and he used it in one of his terrariums. And then I guess the star of the show this week is this little guy, Vanda falcata, is in bloom. It's got 6 flowers this year. I got this plant as a little seedling a couple, I guess 3 or 4 years ago now. 2015, summer of 2015 is when I got it. Oops. And yeah, it's just so cute, and it smells nice in the evening. Just so charming. What a nice little flower. Well guys, that's all I've got for you today. I appreciate you stopping by and having a look at my green pets. I have got some big changes coming up in the future. I have recently gotten a job in Boulder, Colorado, and we'll be moving out to Colorado here in the next month or two. And so that means that I will not be able to take all my plants with me. Some of them will have to be sold off or be given away or something. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. I definitely know I'm going to keep my cattleyas. I'm going to keep my paphs. You know, I'm going to keep some little guys here and there, but some of the other plants I might be getting rid of. So stay tuned for those. Also, like I said, I've got several pieces of this wood. This is hickory bark. Great for growing orchids. They love the roughness of the bark. They grow really well on it. And I've got several pieces of those available. So actually I'm going to show you those right now. Okay guys, here we are in the back of my garage, and like I said, I've got several pieces of this hickory bark, and many of them are in really nice shape, you know, are just ready to go. You know, these are great for growing orchids on, and these are from a hickory tree that was not cut down. It actually fell down on its own. The roots were, I think the roots were kind of rotted, and the tree was very old, and one spring, a couple springs ago, it was rainy, and the tree just kind of fell over. So it wasn't cut down by any means. It just kind of fell over. It's an old tree, but you can see I've got several pieces of this hickory bark. I've got some really big pieces. Got this really big piece here. So if you've got a greenhouse and you're looking for maybe a big piece of wood to do some kind of a mounting presentation on, maybe you want to mount several plants, or you have a really big plant that you want to mount, these could be good for that. So I think what I'm going to do is go through and categorize these as far as size. Maybe the pieces like this I might, you know, cut into more manageable pieces. And then I'm gonna be needing to get rid of all of these. If you're interested, you know how to get in touch. mygreenpets.contact@gmail.com, and I will be putting these up shortly so that you can, you know, see each piece and how much I want for them and that kind of stuff. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by, and I will talk to you later. See ya.